With me here is Karl from Runway Sale. You're one of the founders of Runway Sale, and you guys have been sort of tell me a bit more about the business, how it works, and how you found the South African market.
Sure. So Runway Sale started just over a year ago. I used to work on a similar concept in Australia, so it's been great to get a bit of insight into how it's performed in South Africa as opposed to the company I worked with in Australia. The numbers are very different. Obviously, it's a much smaller market, but the adoption and what we look at is the revenue per user numbers. We're not far off. I'd say we sit at about 70% of what the Australian users are actually shopping on the private shopping club models we're achieving in the South African environment. So if you look at things like our cost per acquisition of a member, where we sit at only about 20% of the established markets because of the competition and then the costs involved, it's actually quite encouraging for the South African market.
Great, and online shopping it's one of those very popular trends on the rise.
Sure.
Where do you see it in sort of 2 to 5 years' time? You see it doubling, tripling? Like, what's the forecast? What sort of growth rates are we speaking about in the local context?
Yeah, sure. So it's a very good question. And I think what's important to understand is that, the numbers are smaller in South Africa, so we're working off a smaller base. I do believe that the most important thing is for a lot of companies just to get out there, start doing advertising. Every person who can shop online for the first time in South Africa is a victory for us as Runway Sale, whether they shop with us or not, because you're growing that market. And there's no reason why online shopping in South Africa shouldn't take off like it has done around the world. There's no reason. The convenience factors, the price factors, all of those things do exist. If you look at Oz, you've got Perth, which is a 5-hour flight away from Sydney, and they still manage to make it work there. So there's no point, there's no reason why between Joburg and Cape Town we can't make it happen. I think if you look at it that way and say there's no real reason, it's just a cultural shift. And as companies go out there and people buy from Kalahari, Takealot, Loot, and they tell their friends how they actually got the product and it was delivered, and their credit card details aren't being used on some Nigerian scam in the process, it's going to build confidence. So, I've got huge expectations for the South African online market. I mean, there are things like there's broadband, and those are all going to fade away, and it's just going to become a cultural thing, and it's just going to continue to grow.
Great. So it's a promising outlook there for the South African shopping.
Most definitely.
Thank you very much, Karl.
100%.